Alright, let's load up with some seed and get on out of here. I left this seed bin open. I shouldn't have with the way the weather is. If we had gotten a shot of rain, yeah. So this number here, I gotta figure out how many pounds I need. So I'll get back to you here. Alright, so this is so typical of what this year has been like. We're jerking around, jumping around, not getting much done on the days that we can roll. But this ground up here is ready to go. But we kind of wanted to be in a spot where we could plant wheat, and we aren't ready to plant wheat here yet. So I was up here looking at field conditions, not really soil conditions, but field conditions here yesterday, and we got some cover crop that has gotten away from us here. So we ran out of wheat seed last year, and we ended up getting some cereal rye, and it has gotten away from us. So we're going to be planting, no tilling, into this crop here. Now we have put manure on this. And, you know, if we didn't put manure on it, we could chop it off. But, like I said, we could chop it off. But we've injected manure on it, and I'm just afraid that we're going to have a lot of dirt that gets gobbled by the disc mower, and we could potentially have some stones that aren't necessarily going to get into the chopper, because the small stones here, well, yes, you're going to have stones. Shouldn't say that. But we don't need to trash a cutter head on the hay bine or the disc mower. So I'm just getting my display set up here, and we'll show you what things look like. But what we're planning on doing is no-tilling into green green vegetation. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have our custom applicator come in and kill this like right away. So I need to get my planter set up here to do no-till. The conditions are right, and the reason why we don't want to kill it before we plant it is we don't want this crop like dead and laying down. If we can plant right through it with the crop standing, it's going to be standing in the same direction that the planter is going, and hopefully we don't have too much crop getting into the seed trench. So let's get dialed in, and we'll show you what this looks like as we get planted. But I need to pay attention to my display here. Got to actually figure out what field this is. It should be 224. Yeah, so I've got to figure it out. So I'll get back to you. Vacuum on, left and right side. I do have, now we're recording, I do have my generator on and my fertilizer is turned on. So we'll get this in a forward gear. Make sure we're RPM'd up, we're in full-wheel drive. We power down. We don't need to do all the fancy garbage of filling the meters or all that crap. We can just set it. So we're all planting, we got fertilizer going, but we got to get our closing wheel, or our we've got to get our row cleaners put down. So let's get that done. Alright, now we're getting into the tall vegetation. Oh, I didn't have my 3-point hitch down correctly. And then we'll get our row cleaners set. Moderate leak detected on closing wheel group 2. So it said a moderate leak. System control disabled. Severe leak detected on closing wheel group 1. So we've got to figure out what that is. So we're going to leave the planter down, because that powers the air compressor. Oh, what we got going on here? I might have to shut the tractor off. Figure out what's going on. The John Deere dealer here. I think group 1 is the center. sensor that is bad, but this is like chest high. Well, not chest high, but yeah. Let's see what we got going on. Moderate leak detected. Closing wheel. I think we're just going to run it for now. I think it's a sensor issue. We need to ignore it and just like let's check for air leaks. Hydraulic power available. Group 1 and 2. Don't know what it's all about, but let me get planted. We might have to start up and shut down here, then we'll join back up with you. Alright, so that has alerted us a couple of different times. I think it's just a sensor. I shut the tractor down. Let's come back here and see if there's not. I've got to let everything be quiet. Pull my earbud out so I can hear things. I think we've got a sensor issue. See, the compressor has got, we've got closing wheels coming out of one bank, and then we've got we have air going to our row cleaners too, but I don't hear nothing leaking, so it's a freaking sensor. Nothing's leaking. So we got 3 banks on here. You can, well, they have it set up so that you can do a couple of different settings on the row cleaners. You can do a you can have the center running down more than, or more pressure than the outside. So I don't hear any air leaking. So we're going to have to figure out what's going on. But it's all the black air lines are going to the they're going to the closing wheels. So I got to figure out where the sensors are here. So all right. All right, so we've checked over the machine. We have shut the machine down. We have restarted. We're gonna see what things look like here. I gotta figure out where the frickin' sensors are. There's not gonna be a sensor only in each group is gonna have a specific sensor. So now I've got nothing. So it just took a reboot to redo it. And we're gonna hammer this out. It would be nice to know what kind of stones or dirt or what have you that we have here, because it would have been nice to have cut this and chopped it. But it's kind of a Mickey Mouse feed, but it would feed well to heifers, but I don't want to run a stone through the chopper. And if it was something that we could chop off, it would be a very nice no-till operation to seed into short stubble, or well, it'd be like that. So I've planted into some tall crop before with success. It looks gaudy, but providing that your seed openers are running kind of in between the rows, you should be all right. If it breaks the stem and pulls the stem down into the seed trench, you might run into trouble. But if we try to chisel plow this, it's a lot of vegetation that we're going to have on top of the ground, and that's going to also pull material down into the seed trench as well. When the two discs are going through the ground and they open up a seed trench to drop the seed in, if you have foreign material drop in other than good soil, that's when you run into a germination problem. So we're gonna bang this out. We've got 2 other strips to do, and then we're gonna join up with Jared here. All right, so I don't know what was going on with the closing wheel air pressure problem, but as it turns out, there was nothing wrong with it. I didn't have to sit down and cry, whine, piss and moan, call 14 of my 14 members of my support group to fix the problem, but it must have just been a goofy sensor. But we're making our second time around here, and so far so good. It's ugly looking, but it's going to look pretty good when we get this up and going. So the planter's just cutting through. It's cutting through the garbage here, and it's doing the job it needs to do. You can see we're on our second pass. So our first pass, it's left a fair amount of the crop still standing. I got a hold of, I texted the guy that does our spraying, and I told him, here's where we're at. I got the advice from him. I said, hey, I've got this cover crop that is a lot more bigger. It's mucho big. And it got away from us. We could have sprayed it earlier, but that's an added cost. Or we could have plowed it earlier, but you know, we're going to leave the excuse that you know, the weather got us to where we are now. So I said, hey, I think I want to plant right through it. And he says, I think that would be the best bet if it's cereal rye. If it's annual rye, we're going to have a hard time killing it. So we were convinced, or we were sure that it was cereal rye, and we're getting right after it here. So I let him know that we're into it and that he can spray herbicide on it at his earliest convenience. It's going to rain tonight, but we might want it to get rained on, and then this might pop back up. Let what plants got injured from the corn planter get repaired and going, and then they come in with a glyphosate or what have you, and then boom, knock it down and kill it, knock it flat. And then what will be nice about this cover crop on the ground that we planted into, we can, the rye will be used to kind of blanket the ground and hold the moisture in. So this phone has been ringing non-stop here. My brother is actually across the road spreading fertilizer. He tried calling me, Jared tried calling me, and we are fast at it. So we're right up over the toolbar by about a foot. And I'm not exaggerating. This stuff is 3 foot tall here. So, all right. Let me get to the phone here. We'll get back to you. Alright, so we got done with that one little tiny field that we filmed from earlier. And now we're into these 2 strips that I need to get done here. Now, that field, the field that, we're a little thick there. The field that the chisel plow was parked next to is over on yonder. And I come by that. Sarah fall plowed that. We put cover crop on it. Put cover crop on it before it was plowed. And that has come up through it, but it is doing a good job, but I think we can disc that out. This here is pretty thick. We've got a strip above us that is thick too. So we've got alfalfa here to our right. And the alfalfa is standing in good. However, the cover crop is standing at about a foot taller than the alfalfa field that we're gonna harvest here in about a week. That won't get much more bigger than what it is. So when we put this cover crop on, it was put on with the fertilizer spreader. We spun it on. Now you'll see it's in rows. I don't know why it's in rows. I really don't know why it's in rows. It almost looks like it is planted with a grain drill, but I can tell you right now it was not. And had it been a normal year, this would have been plowed in under a couple of weeks ago. Last year I planted this field exactly 1 week ago today. So if it was planted a week ago today, it was probably plowed or chiseled a week prior to that. But it's a little lighter on this one end. It's only about a foot tall here, but it is what it is. So we're going to keep you guys posted on how this does. Just know the alfalfa fields, telephone poles, alfalfa at the end. It's going to be hard for you guys to tell where the other field is. We've got a garden here. We can kind of show you this at a later date. And when we do, we'll be able to, show you what this looks like. So we did a new field boundary on this field. Come over into this. Guidance, set track, new track. Boundary track, boundary fill, next, safe. Now what we can do is, our next pass, we will be able to use our boundary track for a guidance track. So we'll just keep at it here. So that is gonna do it for this video. I do want to thank you guys for watching, and I didn't quite get on, I wasn't centered there, so we kind of got a little cattywampus. But you can see we're a little thin here, and then as we get into the vegetation in front of us, it is a little more thicker.